little lines I highlighted, like, if I could take that all back, I would feel reassured that I was a good wife. And I was like, ooh, the good wife.
Yeah, the good wife syndrome. Kind of right in there with good girl, good mother.
Like, here's another book title, like, Killing Off the Good Wife.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, there was, oh, this is so good. When you come to the end of yourself and you no longer know who you are, and perhaps never did, that's where you find yourself. I was like, wow, there we go.
Book's over.
What more is there to say?
Just read that line. People don't need to read 200 pages of a book.
And I love this. When it comes to trust, I don't trust anyone who doesn't swear. After all, who doesn't throw out a cuss word when they stub their toe?
I know, right?
So fun. And then, oh, I love this. When you met Terry, and he says, Terry flirted with me and said he'd always wanted to take the love of his life to the Great Continental Divide. He was referring to Montana, where he was born, to watch the sunrise. I said, I have 2 sleeping bags. When are we going?
And I went, oh shit, I just flirted with him. Oh no, what do I do?
It's so funny. And then, 2.5 weeks later, we were married.
Well, I made him wait an extra week.
Yeah, and I thought, and you've been married for 8 years now?
9. It'll be 10. Yeah, this coming February 2011 or 2021. We met in 2011. Yeah, so it'll be 10 years. Game on, and then we were legally married a year later. So this January 2021, we'll have legally been married 9. Nice.
I was just thinking, I was like, you are well beyond, like, well into this marriage.
Yeah, right? They say, like, in business, we can hang on for 5, or 3 or whatever it is.
Yeah. 10 years, like, okay, 10 years, and you can look back and tell this story. And it just seems absolutely crazy based on, normal standards of dating and getting married and all of that. Yeah. And so, you just make the rest of us feel really sane. Like, I think that's what you made the quote, we keep each other sane, you and I. We keep each other sane in your book. I was like, definitely. And I think that's part of the power of women coming together. Yes. Like having sisterhood is like when you find out the real story of people's lives, you're like, oh, I'm not the crazy one. All right. Like, not that they're crazy, but that you just feel less crazy because kind of the picture perfect, good wife, good girl mentality says you do things this way. For me, it was like you wait to have sex until you're married, and then you get married and this is how you're a good wife, and this is how you submit, and this is how, your man is supposed to be. And then when you do those things, then you have kids, and this is what that looks like. Everything is kind of painted as so
it'll be
simple.
Perfect. If you don't do it that way, it won't be perfect. But if you do it that way, it will be perfect.
Success guaranteed.
Might look perfect from the outside, but
yeah. And I think there's, like, we live in a world where I think women are becoming so much like more disillusioned with marriage and that sort of picture perfect thing, just because the pure statistics of marriage is that, 60% of marriages will end in divorce. So you have a decent chance that that's going to end up being you, or it's going to end up being someone really close to you. Mm-hmm. So I think that learning how to now support each other through all of the complexities of divorce and having kids with an ex, and then moving into a new relationship and building the new relationship. Like, there's just things that, our mothers never had to do.
Right. And we can't really go back to them to ask them for how, or the support or whatever. And I think that's been the key in our relationship is that, you've had someone who's walked the path, and someone who isn't like going, oh, just get divorced, right? It's like, well, what's really going on, and digging deeper. And it's interesting.
And I think that comes from, and you talked about this several times in your book, and I think there was even something in your letters to your ex. So this is something that you've known for quite some time in your life, that like your emotions aren't right or wrong. And now it's kind of like also your choices aren't right or wrong. And it's just going and walking at the level of your soul so that the choices are in alignment with you. And you feel empowered in your emotions, not like your emotions are running the show. So I think that's been such a gift for me, because I think now standing on the other side of divorce, in a way, looking back at knowing you for 4 years, you knew me through all of this. You knew me as married Steena, barely having a business, and then like growing that, and my kids growing, and you've had, relationships with them and been involved in their education, just like, my family kind of inside and out. And I can say that through that time, like you never were, you didn't like point me to problems in my life or say like, that doesn't seem like your marriage is working out, or, you know what I mean? Like, even though you had those experiences and you may have seen some of the similarities in things, I still never felt wrong or like what I was doing was, that you were judging me at all. That never even occurred to me until like being on the other side of it, now seeing how similar our feelings were and our stories were in different ways. It's so powerful because it reminds me that like I will meet a lot of women in my lifetime who are going to be, however many steps behind me in their journey. And to be able to offer people that kind of unconditional support, because that's what you need, is somebody that's going to walk beside you, not somebody who's like running in front of you with a leash, like, come on, like, let's go.
Yeah.
You just can't process that much transformation at once. Like, it's
a good point.
As a human.